In this lecture, we're going to see a small example of how pointer arithmetic can be used to target stuff that we want to manipulate in our arrays. What we're going to be using is the example we've done before where we were swapping array data. This is how our arrays were set up, and here is the code that was printing our array data. So here we can, for example, see that we are using array index notation to target the elements that we want to print. Now we can use pointer arithmetic to do that. And I want you to give this a try and see if you can do this. Now that you know about pointer arithmetic and some of the crazy things we've been able to do in the last few lectures where we were learning about pointer arithmetic. So we can use that to target the elements that we want to print. Here is another slide where we can actually use that. And here we are targeting the element that we want to copy. We can also use pointer arithmetic and do the same thing. And this might be a good example you can try to really drive the point home on how you can take advantage of pointer arithmetic. And I am sure we will have many occasions of using this as we progress in the course. Okay, in this example, you see that we were using our custom pointers to target the elements that we want to print. You can also use pointer arithmetic here. And we're going to head over to Visual Studio Code and show you how this is done instead of telling you about it. Let's do this. Here we are in our working folder. The current project is swapping array data, pointer arithmetic. We are going to grab our template code and use that to set up a starting point for our project here. And we are going to open this in Visual Studio Code. Let's take everything out here and put in the code we're going to be playing with. And you see that it is the code we had when we were trying to swap array data. And the best technique we could find that worked really well was to set up our own separate pointers that could be modified. And we swapped pointers instead of looping around and copying data, which turned out to be really bad. So let's go down here and show you where we swapped the pointers. Here we swapped the pointers, and if we print the data again, the data would be swapped. The key thing here is that we use the pointers to target the data that we want to manipulate, be it to print things out or even to modify things like we are doing here. What I want to show you in this lecture is that we can actually use pointer arithmetic to target things we want to print. For example, instead of using angle bracket notation here, we can dereference the current element using pointer arithmetic. And we're going to say p array 0 plus I. This is something we can do. And we're going to do the same. Notice that we are dereferencing. If you don't, you're going to get something wrong. So let's say p array 1 and plus I. And we can go down and keep doing the same thing. Let's go down where we print again, and we're going to basically do the same thing. So we're going to dereference into p array 0, and we're going to target the elements that we want to print with pointer arithmetic here. And let's do the same. So we're going to change this array 0. Array 1, that's what we should use, and say plus I. And this is going to target the element we want, and it is going to print exactly the same thing. Let's try to build with GCC. The build is going to be good. We're going to set up a terminal that we can use to print these things out. We can clear and run rooster, and you see that data is swapped exactly as we would expect. Okay, this is really all we set out to do in this lecture. I wanted you to see that you can also use pointer arithmetic to do basically the same thing. And it is going to be your choice. If you want to use angle bracket notation, you can use that. If pointer arithmetic is making things easier, go ahead and use it. We are going to stop here in this lecture. In the next one, we're going to revisit our idea of our program memory map. Go ahead and finish up here and meet me there.